All right, we're back here at Lasorda's Lounge to discuss the American League Central. How are you, Chris?
I am doing wonderful. Unlike our friends and listeners on the East Coast that are still digging out from snow, 2, 3, 9 feet of snow, 7 degrees below zero, my heart goes out to you. I am doing wonderful. I am warm.
Good. I hope everybody in freezing the eastern seaboard in the freezing part of the country is doing okay and they're safe and staying indoors. Meanwhile, Chris and I have a cold frosty beer to
This one's for you.
celebrate our review of the American League Central. And Chris, I noticed you got a looks like you got a minor league baseball shirt on. What are you wearing today?
The Rocket City Trash Pandas, Huntsville, Alabama, single A for the wonderful Angels back here.
I
Rock Go
love.
Trash Pandas, one of the greatest names ever. No one in that
I've
system that can play. No one upcoming. But you know what? They're the Trash Pandas and one of the great logos in all of minor league baseball. One of the coolest things ever, minor league baseball. What a joy. What fun.
I have never ever said the words "Go Trash Pandas" before. Right
Every
then, when I just said it,
Everyone
yeah.
should say that. Everyone say it with me now. If you're listening to this, just say Go Trash Pandas.
Go Trash Pandas. Woo woo. All right, Chris, let's get into the American League Central. It's our third episode. By the way, thank you all for your viewership and watching the show. It's been a lot of fun for us to do this and appreciate your viewing and your likes and subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It helps our channel and helps us get the word out that, you know, what these two lifelong baseball fans are doing, which is drink beer and talk baseball. So
Two
we're
guys
we're
who
good at
love
both.
baseball.
We're good at both of those, and we like beer too. All right, so let's start off, Chris, with the Cleveland Indians, who Guardians, who were 88 and 74 last year, lost to the Tigers in the wild card. What a season that was last year, with the Guardians just storming back to win the division last year. Man, that was something. That was
I don't know.
amazing.
The Tiger, the plummet, 15 and a half
I
games
know.
back. The Tigers led that. And you know, it's not as though the Guardians had an ideal season. They had a gambling scandal. They had pitchers who were one of the best pitchers in baseball thrown out for betting scandals. This is one of the most improbable things that we have ever seen in baseball. You
Yeah.
know, this is not a single moment of Kirk Gibson hitting a home run. This was a 15 and a half game chasm that they
Yeah.
overcame. And you know what? They hit 225. During that
Incredible.
run, they were
That's
hitting
incredible.
225.
That's baseball, man. Just so unlikely, but it happened. You had to see it to believe it. Okay, so they have this 88 win season. They fall short in the wild card. They lost a few key arms, right? And Jacob Tunis and Ben Lively, and plus Lane Thomas, who I think is a pretty good player. The big move in the offseason was locking up Jose Ramirez. Well, excuse me, future Hall of Famer
Yes.
Jose Ramirez. This is a very, very incredibly great player. I mean, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, probably first ballot. They re-signed Austin Hedges. They signed some starting pitching here: Sean Armstrong, Connor Brogdon, Colin Holderman. So not a bad offseason for the Guardians. I'm going to give them an A minus in the offseason, Chris. It's pretty. Or, excuse me, not I wrote A plus, but I meant A minus.
Well,
All
I
right.
think the key thing is here you lock up Ramirez. He
Yeah.
is an all-world talent. Seven. I mean, everybody else is a throwaway 1 year. They're trying to figure out what works there, but you just signed one of the top three players in the American League.
Right.
What a brilliant move! And he could carry a team by himself apparently because he's done it before.
Yep. Can this lineup, though, take the next step and go deep into October? That's really the question. You got Stephen Kwan, who's a solid leadoff hitter, DeLauder, Jose Ramirez, Kyle Manzardo, excuse me, Bo Naylor as your top five. I like this lineup. They're going to score. They're going to be productive. The question is, can they do it all season long? and can they make it deep into October?
Stephen Kwan, as I understand, they've just switched him over to center field, so they're going to move him out there. So he's
Oh,
switching
is
to a
that
new
right?
spot. No, but this
Okay.
just happened like 2 or 3 days ago. So
Okay.
they're trying to improve there. It'll be interesting to see how his defense sticks out there. But you know what? I think he's a solid player. That's a better leadoff hitter than most teams in baseball will have, and I think he's just a solid baseball player. Will hit for average. Will get you some power. Good speed. All those things that he will do. Ramirez, we've already talked about. My worry is it falls off so quickly. Bo Naylor is going to hit you 20 home runs, but he's also going to hit you, 215. That worries me. They just added in 2 days ago Reese Hoskins. I
Mm,
don't know what Hoskins has
that's
left,
right.
but you know what? If you look at this lineup, Hoskins can play first. He can play outfield. He can DH. He can do a lot of things. If you get Reese Hoskins from 3 years ago when he was, fantastic on the Phillies, if you get half of that, you've got another surprise bat there to produce some runs. But
Hmm.
I like the top four. After that, I think they're going to struggle. Even like Nolan Jones, that may be Valero who plays there. Either way, they're going to hit 235 at that spot. So I do worry about the bottom half of that lineup.
Hmm. Question is here: can they shake last year? I mean, they came so far and just couldn't get over the hump of the Tigers. It was rather interesting to see them just struggle and win the division, and so exciting in the fashion that they did, and then just drop the ball in the wild card round. It was so strange. But so, do you think they can get past that?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know if they can get to that this year. That'll
Mm,
be the real test. They're a bit like the Brewers. They keep doing things that you don't expect. They're always a surprise. Their record's always a little bit better than you think it's going to be. It's a decent bullpen. Cade Smith is very strong. It's got some decent starters in there.
mhm.
I think if they win this year, it will be the top half of the lineup and the solid nature of this bullpen because I think Cade Smith is strong, Hunter
Yeah.
Gaddis is strong, Fest is strong, Armstrong. They've got a good bullpen.
Yep.
So I think that's going to carry them through some deficiencies at the bottom half of the lineup and certainly with the rotation.
All right, let's talk Tiger baseball. The Detroit Tigers, obviously coming off a pretty deep playoff run, they just couldn't get past Seattle. They lost some key pieces in the offseason, including Chris Paddock and a few arms in the bullpen. They filled those holes quickly, though. They're bringing in Framber Valdez, who is a great player, as a great pitcher, excuse me. Gleyber Torres accepted a qualifying offer. Dodger fan favorite Kenley Jansen, fan favorite and most annoying fan favorite ever because he's one of these guys that just he's so frustrating. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, it's not. It's ugly. Um, Kyle Finnegan, Drew Anderson, and former Tiger Justin Verlander signed a 1 year agreement, which I'm sure the fans in Detroit love. I'm going to give them an A minus for their offseason, Chris.
I love what they've done in the offseason. Kenley Jansen, one of the great walk-up songs as a closer, Earth, Wind,
Absolutely.
and Fire. I think we were sitting in a game last year when he pulled up lame, and I leaned over and
Mm-hmm.
said, we may have seen the last pitch Kenley Jansen throws. And you know what? He was out there 3 nights later, and he just gets it done. It's never safe. You never feel comfortable. He's
Right.
throwing one pitch, and occasionally he mixes in a curve but he just gets it done. And I think the sneaky one here is actually Kyle Finnegan because he can get guys out. And I like this bullpen, and I love the idea of bringing back Verlander. And he's not going to make it to 300, I don't think. I mean, the guy keeps going, but what a story to bring him. I want them, by the way, to sign Mad Max Scherzer as well too. Bring him back
Oh,
too. Let's just get the gang back together and
right.
record one more time, just for one more. So I like what the Tigers have done, and I love that Tiger logo. That Tiger looks surprised every time I see him.
Oh, the Tiger logo is awesome. But, let's jump to the rotation really quick since you mentioned Verlander. So you got Tarek Skubal,
Yes.
of course, best lefty in the game for sure, maybe the best pitcher in the game. Framer Valdez, Verlander slot in the third spot here, maybe fourth behind Flaherty and Casey Mize. That is a pretty good starting five. I think they're going to go far with their starting pitching this year, Chris.
That is fantastic. And you say, best lefty. I'm not so sure Scooble's not the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah,
And
you
I
could
know
argue it. Yeah.
maybe Skeens, Yamamoto, but I know you Dodger fans are just salivating over getting him when he comes over and joins your 9-man amazing rotation. But the dude goes 6 pitches deep. He is just nasty, and he fights and battles. I love his energy. I love everything he does. I don't want to see him ever leave the Tigers unless he goes to the Braves. But I love what he does, and again, I get the sense he's going to leave. I mean, Valdez, they brought him in to be their ace, and he could be an ace on most any team. But I don't think it's his time to be the ace yet.
Yeah, we should do an episode on who is the best pitcher in the game, Skeens or Scooble. That would be good. I would enjoy that. Right now I go Skeens, but Scuba. It's like
Yeah.
they're right there. That's tough. That's a tough pick, but I love watching those guys. And yes, either one of them would look great in blue. I'm not gonna argue that point at all.
And I
This
think this is
lineup,
the key is the bullpen.
yes,
Will Vest throws hard. He could be a closer almost any time, any team. Cal
hmm
Finnegan is just nasty, amazing slider. Tyler Holton, Anderson. This is a serious bullpen. So you mix that starting five with this bullpen. This is going to be a team that can pitch, and I wouldn't want to face them this year.
yeah.
They're going to look
I
good.
think they look great. The pitching staff looks great. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit really quick. We didn't really hit on that. I just want to mention Kerry Carpenter. Kerry Carpenter's growth gives this lineup a lot of flexibility. Um, I think the outfield mix could be sort of like a daily puzzle between Meadows and Vierling and possibly some guys on the bench. AJ Hinch has a lot of options with this lineup, and I think it's very flexible. I really like the Tigers. I think they're going to score. They're going to pitch well, and I think they are going to go deep into the playoffs this year. The question is, for me, will the Tigers be able to rely on other starting pitchers other than Tarek Skubal? Because he got lit up by the Guardians in the playoffs. And at the end of the season, or maybe it was the last game of the season when they passed the Tigers. His fastball looked flat, and he pitched the entire season. I think they need to be smarter with him. I'd like to see him go deep into October, and that means the other guys have to step up. Whether or not that happens, remains to be seen. I don't think Justin Verlander is going to be the guy that makes it happen. He's going to eat some innings, but I want to see these guys. I want to see Valdez, Flaherty, Mize pick up some of the slack so that Skubal can be the ace when it counts deep into October.
Well, Skubal had to be exhausted from carrying the Tigers the entire year on his back, both emotionally and as the best pitcher on the planet.
Yep.
And if you look at Verlander, he had such a terrible start with the Giants, but at the end of the season, he was actually pretty good. So if you look at his second half numbers, if he comes anywhere close to that, he's going to be strong. And that lineup, it'll be interesting because when they collapsed last year and lost that giant lead, they hit everything. They hit home runs in the first part of the season at a ridiculous rate, and I think they will this year too. But they hit nothing at the end of the season, and I think that will be the real key. They've got 5 or 6 guys who can hit 25 home runs. And I love Gleyber Torres is just a good number two, your classic battling number two. And it's as you said, I think it's a flexible lineup because McKinstry could hit leadoff as well too, and Parker Meadows could hit last. Riley Green, I don't know if you've seen much of him, but he has the biggest arc swing I have ever seen. It takes Bellinger and just says hold my beer. That guy swings for the fence. It is the
Oh yeah.
the biggest. He's going to hit 30 home runs and lead the league in strikeouts. And then Torkelson's the key because this is your first pick of the draft. He finally hit it last year with 30 home runs, but he still hit 235, 240,
hmm
and I think he has to get that average up to 250. To really make it work. And my sleeper here, I love Dingler as a catcher. He's a good
Oh yeah.
defender. He's a clutch hit, huge home run in the playoffs last year. So I think they do a lot of good things here. It'll be interesting.
All right, Chris, let's move on to the Kansas City Royals, who won 82 games last year. They were just about 500. They came in third place last year. They lost quite a few players. Mike Yastrzemski, Michael Lorenzen, Adam Frazier, Hunter Harvey. All these guys pretty important to their team last year, gone in the offseason this year. Uh, Maledzik and Gruchuk. Don't know who those are, but those guys are gone. Key offseason moves. They added Garcia to a 5-year contract. Very good player, very good hitter. He's going to be a Royal for a while. Salvador Perez, they extended his contract. They picked up Isaac Collins in a trade, Matt Strom in a trade. Lane Thomas and Alex Lang, they signed to 1-year agreements. I do like this team. I think, again, this is a team that's kind of on the fringes and they're trying to build around their superstar. I'm going to give them a B in the offseason, Chris.
I like that. Mikel Garcia, he can steal your bases. He can hit for average. He's a solid defender. Anytime you lock up Salvi Perez, one of the best catchers in baseball, you've done something. I like what they've done. I don't think they've lost much. I think they've added. Lane Thomas is a good, solid addition. I like what the Royals have done in the offseason. My favorite move the Royals have done in the offseason is they've moved the fences in
Yeah,
at all
right.
levels. They're going for power. They're going to score some runs, and I think it really um, enhances what this team does, which is hit the baseball.
Yep, I agree. Their projected lineup, they're going to lead off with Garcia. The world's best shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., is going to bat second. They've got a good lineup. Uh, I cannot pronounce this man's name. You give it a shot.
Pasquantino,
Pasquantino. There you
Vinny
go.
Pasquantino,
Vinny.
dude, dude can hit. He hit 30 home runs last year. He will hit 30 home runs this year. You can just mark it down in the book because the guy can absolutely hit. He can mash.
30 homers. Salvador Perez, a very good catcher. And Isaac Collins rounds out your top five. Jonathan India, Carter Jensen, Lane Thomas, and Kyle Isbell at the bottom half of the lineup. The projected rotation, Reagan's, Luke, and Waka. How old is Michael Waka? I can't believe that guy's in the league still.
He has been around forever. He's had some big moments. He's throwing as well as he's thrown.
Yeah.
He had that breakout year with the Cardinals where he was so good and so young. And I don't know if he's matched it in a while. And he's always hurt. He's going to give you a 500 season. That's what he does.
Yeah. Bubik and Cameron round out the starting
Yeah.
rotation. And what do you think about their bullpen, Chris? Estevez can pitch. Matthew Strom can pitch. But the rest of these guys, I don't know. Well,
I don't really love this
I'm,
bullpen. I don't love this rotation as a whole. I think
yeah.
Reagans is coming off a rotator cuff injury. If he's your ace, Seth Lugo, although he had a decent season last year, I always think of him as a Met reliever. I don't like this staff. I like the way they hit the baseball. Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the top 5 players in baseball, and could even be better than that.
Yeah.
But I do not like the starters. And Esteves, I'm an Angel fan. I remember what he does, and he makes it interesting, and you can't count on him. So I don't love the bullpen either. The pitching side for the Royals, I'm glad they moved the fences in. They're going to turn around and watch lots of balls leave from their bats and from the other team's bats.
Well, Chris, I think we're on the same mental plane because my question is, will moving the fences in at Kauffman help or hurt the Royals this year?
It's going to make it exciting. They've only got I think they're talking about a new stadium, so they're about 5 years away from a new stadium, which
Yeah.
will be sad for me because it's such a great stadium. So I think it helps. I think it helps attendance. I think it's going to help their offense. This team's going to win, they're going to win with offense. So why not go for as much offense as possible? If they're going to really crack through playoffs, go anywhere, it will be with the bats.
Off fence. Are you saying the Royals put the fence in offense? That's what you're saying.
I like that.
All right. Leave the dad jokes behind, Steve. All right. The Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins won 70 games last year. Man, the Twins. What's going on with the Twins? They lost Vasquez and Cabrera. Um, Derek Shelton is their new manager. They signed Josh Bell, Victor Cotterini, Taylor Rogers, Alex Jackson, Eric Wagaman, Tristan Gray, excuse me. I just don't know where this franchise is headed. I'm kind of a closet Twins fan. My grandmother was from Minnesota. I like the Twins. I want them to do well. I can't figure out what they're trying to do.
I think you have to look at a couple of things there. One, our what is left is not counting what happened at the end of last year, where they sold off the entire team. They got rid
Yeah.
of 9 trades. They traded off almost their entire team.
Yes.
They lost
Awful.
Harrison Bader. They lost Duran. They lost Correa. They lost Paddock. Um, they pretty much got rid of everyone as a sell-off, and I'm not so sure they're not going to do that again. Look at all those contracts. 1 year,
Yeah.
1 year. I mean, Josh Bell had been on a 1 year contract for, I don't know, 14 teams in a row, like the last 14 years. So it's all 1 year deals. I think they're ready to sell off, get more prospects. The Twins always do a really great job of their minor league system. They have a lot of top 100 prospects. I think they're going young, 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 and I think they're going to sell off again. So I think anyone you see on this next slide will perhaps be gone by the end of next year, and we will have a different conversation then.
Yeah, didn't they have
But
like half the locker room was traded last year? I
yes,
think.
yes.
Yeah.
How does that even happen? It's
Crazy.
shocking.
It's crazy.
Um,
Yeah. So lots of new
and they
faces.
and they sold the team. So not only did they sell off the entire team, they sold the team. So
Yeah.
what an interesting turn of events in Minnesota there.
So lots of new faces. Let's try to spin this positively for them. So lots of new faces in Minnesota for the Twins this year. You got Byron Buxton, all right,
Yep.
leading off. Pretty solid leadoff hitter.
Yep.
You got an interesting blend of young talent, right? Like this kid Keyshaw,
Yeah, Keyshaw. Yeah, he
pretty
can
good
play.
hitter. Yep.
He's a good hitter. Yeah.
And Brooks Lee, good defensive shortstop. Is probably going to start this year. Royce Lewis in the middle brings some upside.
Yep.
But aside from that, it's like pray for rain maybe in Minnesota.
Pray for help. Pray for help because Buxton always hurt.
Yeah.
Royce Lewis always hurt. Brooks Lee always hurt.
Yeah.
Um, great talent, and I think this is what the Twins are going to have to do. They keep trying to this is their rebuild. They're starting that rebuild, and if this rebuild doesn't work with Buxton, Keyshaw, Lewis, Lee, then they have to have another rebuild with what's in the system. And they have some great young players coming up. I mean, they have Walker Jenkins, who's top 10 in baseball. They have Rodriguez. They have Culpepper. They have some really studs in their system. But this is maybe one more sell off before you bring in the next wave of young guys to see what happens. So I mean, if I'm in contention at the end of the year and Buxton's out there just waiting to be traded, or Lewis or Lee, I'm interested.
Is there any way that this team squeaks into the postseason? How do
Absolutely
you
not.
see it?
Uh, I mean, so let's come back to this. Their best pitcher Pablo Lopez is out with Tommy John surgery to start the season. Joe Ryan is also hurt and coming off of injury. Bailey Ober is coming off of injury. So I'm all about pitching. When your closer is Taylor Rogers, you're in trouble. Um, so this bullpen's going to get a lot of work, and because this starting staff is not very good, they're looking young. I mean, Zebby Matthews is going to be a good young pitcher. He's got good stuff, and we'll see what he can do in the league. But no, my answer is no. But you may have a different one. But I'm going to say no, no, and more no.
They're not making the playoffs. In fact, I'd be surprised if they're not in AAA next year. Let's face it. Poor
Where they're
Twins.
stacked with talent.
All right. The White Sox. Let's move on. The White Sox finished in last place last year. They won 40 games 2 years ago. They won 60 games last year. So they improved by 150%. That's good.
Comparing them to where the Twins are, I think the White Sox they've started the rebuild before them, and I
Yep.
think they're a little bit ahead of that
Hmm.
with the rebuild. And, they've got a lot of 1 year deals. And, to me, the real thing that shows that they're seriously considering competing this year is Sir Anthony Dominguez. To sign a closer, a good closer, a really good closer to a 2 year deal seems to say that you think you're going to have a lot of games that need to be closed. And so that tells me they feel pretty good about this young
Hmm.
talent.
Yeah, they brought in Murakami from the Japanese leagues. He's going to be exciting to see. And yeah, you're right. Lots of short-term deals. Um, and this will be an interesting. I actually got Luis Angel Acuna also, which is interesting. Overall grade, I'm not sure what to grade this, Chris. I'm just going to give him a C because it's the White Sox. But I mean, I feel like they're trying, but I don't know. This is another team that you're right started the rebuild maybe a year before, and they're suffering through it as we speak. Starting lineup: Meadroth, Teal, Montgomery, and Murakami. Miguel Vargas, former Dodger. Starting lineup this year: Austin Hayes, Benintendi, Hero, and Baldwin. My namesake playing center field for the White Sox. Shane Smith, Martin Kay, Burke, and Newcomb round out your starting rotation. Sir Anthony Dominguez as the closer, as you mentioned previously. So yeah, this team, I don't know, over under 60 wins. What do you think? You taking the over or the under?
I'm going well over,
Oh yeah,
well
okay.
over. I think they're much improved. That you lose Luis Robert. I mean, your best hitter's gone, and that's tough. But I think there's some things are on the upside here. Mydroth is a really good, solid second baseman. Kyle Teal is one of my favorite. I'm gonna go sort of a dark horse, like something good's going to happen. I like him as a hitter. He makes good contact. He hits for some power. Murakami, I think he's going to be good. I mean, they say he hits bombs, and I'm excited to see it. Miguel Vargas is just a hitter. Benintendi, if he's healthy, can always play. So I like what they've done, and the lesser Luis Angel Acuna, he's the lesser Acuna brother, but I like what he
Yeah.
does, and even though his new manager doesn't know if he can switch hit or not, apparently called him a switch hitter for quite a while until he found out he was not.
Yeah, I think there's more questions than answers for the Chicago White Sox right now. I mean, there's still, you got a guy like Vargas that you're penciling into the lineup. He's like a 230 or so career hitter so far. He's a young guy. He's still finding his way. But I think that's the story for the entire White Sox lineup. They're just finding their way. Murakami is exciting. It's going to be fun to watch him come over and play, but he's a question mark. So we just don't know how these guys are going to perform. And a bunch of young guys trying to put it together and do something in Chicago. All right, Chris.
I've heard the next young guy is Braden Montgomery, center fielder from Stanford last year. He's in Double A right
Okay.
now, and they say he's coming. They say that this is a guy that you can almost put him at the top of that lineup, and he's going to hit the roster at the end of the year. Much like the Tigers, we didn't talk about Max Clark and McGonagall. They have some great young. There's some great young talent in this division, and I think the White Sox are doing the same. So I would say this roster may look a little different at the end of the season.
It's kind of a weak division.
I think it's the
It
weakest in
is. It
baseball.
is for sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, are you ready to make our predictions?
I
All
am ready.
right. So I could guess. Well, I don't want to guess. You tell me. What do you think? What's your fifth place team, Chris?
It's the absolute. It's the Twinkies. I think the Twins are going to win. I don't know, 61 ball games this year. It's going to be rough.
All right. Well, I'm going White Sox. I think those two are going to battle for last place. Unfortunately, in Chicago still. I would love for the White Sox. It's so weird to see the Twins and White Sox struggling so badly. Just two classic franchises. I want both of them to do well. I want both of them to be good. All right. Who's your fourth place team?
Pinwheels flying.
Yeah.
White Sox. The White Sox. I think the White Sox are going to win about 71 ball games this year.
71. Oh, I didn't say how many they're going to win. I'm going to say they're going to win, I'll say 62. And you said the Twins are going to win 61? All right.
Yes.
Twins are going to come in fourth in my list. And 72. All right. Who's your third place team, Chris?
There will be no miracle. There will be no comeback. You know, I think the Guardians are going
Ooh,
to finish third
really?
this year. Not enough pitching to get them through. I am taking them to win 83 games, one game above 500.
Wow. That big of a fall from grace, huh?
I think it's going to be a tough, tough year for the Guardians.
Okay. I'm picking the Royals. I will be sad when they close Kauffman Stadium. I know that there's a lot of talk in Kansas City. It's like 25 minutes from downtown Kansas City. It's a drive, but that is such a classic ballpark. I love that ballpark. I love what they've done with it. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the fences moved in this year. There's going to be they're projecting like 30 to 45 more homers or something like that. So it's going to be exciting. Um, but they're going to win 82
It'd be fun to
games.
see Bo Jackson hit it in that park. How
Oh my
far would it
God.
go
Oh
past the
yeah. Yeah.
fences?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I love that ballpark. All right, Chris, who's your second place team?
Well, I think the Royals are going to be led by Bobby Witt Jr., one
Wow.
of the best players of baseball. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is going to lead them to 87 wins this year. That is my surprise pick. I think the Royals are really going to put it together this year. Kauffman Stadium is going to be rocking, and I like what they're doing, and I expect to see them contend for the
I
wild
would
card.
love that. I would love if the Royals had a great year and contended for the wild card. That would be awesome. That would be so cool.
And for all the Royals fans out there, I will go UL Washington, and I will put a toothpick in my mouth for the next for the playoffs and play shortstop while doing it.
That'd be awesome. Who's their no, who's the Royal second baseman? That little guy.
Frank White.
No, who am I thinking of? He was about 5 feet tall. I can't remember his name right
It's
now.
not Frank White.
I'm
Okay.
probably confusing it. All right. All right. I got to put my hat on. The division winner is. Ooh.
Sorry, I put the wrong hat
You picked them. How do you have a twins hat?
on.
All right.
Why do you not have
I know. The Guardians are going to come in second place this year.
it? Okay.
They are.
I think that means we agree
Yeah,
again.
we do. The Guardians are going to. How many wins did you give the Royals? The Royals are going to
87.
87 wins. I think they're going to win 84. But for me, it's the Tigers. I think they're going to have a dominating season. That pitching staff is too good. I think they're going to win 93 ball games and probably going to go deep into October. And I'm going to study them well this year because I think the Dodgers are going to maybe face them in the World Series. We'll see.
93. I've got him more at 88. I think this is another tight division. I love the two Centrals. Both Centrals and American National are going to be real, just barn burners. I've got the Tigers at 88, the
Oh,
Royals at
look at
87,
that.
and the Guardians. I think the Guardians will hang for a while, but fall back to
That's a
83.
very
So
tight
I'm
division
taking
race you have there. Yeah. All right.
I'm taking the Tigers.
All right. Well, we agreed again. That's weird. What the hell's going on?
I don't like this. I don't like.
Very strange. All right. Well, this was fun. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and appreciate your listenership and viewership. And go Tigers.
Go Trash Pandas.
See you next time.